Hey everyone, today I want to take a look at the update video on patch 0.1.1, in particular from an SSF perspective. I'm already quite positive about the game and this update provides even more reasons to be excited. I'm not going to cover everything, I will skip some things that I'm less interested in. Primarily bugs, visual clarity and UI related changes, plus balance changes. The video starts with Jonathan mentioning that the changes that we're getting this week already are those they realistically could address quickly. Which makes sense, they all just got back from holidays, bigger changes need time, but it is still impressive in my opinion what they managed to deliver in a single patch, in basically a week or two. It really makes you wonder why it is taking other games so incredibly long to deliver updates. In terms of endgame, maps have been more rewarding and in the interview later this was further explained. Overall, monster density is consistent with the size of the map for example, so the bigger the map the more monsters, the more chests, etc. And possibly, maps with bad layouts have even higher monster density to make up for the fact that they kinda suck to run. I think that is an acceptable way of solving things and not having to remove every map that people don't like. So you have a few maps that you hate, but you do increase the monster density and so you do increase the appreciation for those maps a little bit as well. I feel in Solo Self-Found the whole map issue was less of an issue to begin with, as in Solo Self-Found all resources are more valuable, including maps. It's not that great of an idea to leave juicy maps unattended, and with these changes you are even more incentivized to run them at some point. I think it's a helpful change. Towers got an overhaul, sort of, by adding 4 more towers. Now, I'm not sure this is what people were looking for, but first of all, I think the tower issue is blown out of proportion as it's really not that bad, and I'm playing minions that get stuck in those towers all the time. And second of all, I think 5 towers for some variety may just be enough. Let's see how it goes and take it from there, that seems to be the philosophy. Bosses will spawn more often in maps, actually 25%, which was the idea from the start. Reason for them not spawning 25% was that not every map had a possible boss to spawn, and so they didn't reach the percentage. A bit of an oversight, I'm sure, but that's now fixed. Plus, what I think is quite an elegant solution, they're introducing boss tablets to address the concern that some people want more bosses in the maps. So without forcing it on everyone, the devs now give you a choice in the form of a map boss tablet, which likely has to compete with breach tablets. But I think that's only a good thing. In Solo Self-Found, bosses are a great way to sustain maps, so if that's an issue for you, these tablets are surely going to help. Otherwise, farming bosses in SSF, I'm not seeing it per se. I think the map in general and league mechanics are way more rewarding, but I can't deny that bosses are great, very fleshed out, challenging and ultimately rewarding. Strongboxes have been buffed as monsters spawn more often and quicker. However, it seems the loot itself wasn't buffed. I don't think this is enough to change anyone's mind on strongboxes as a mechanic, but at least people may click on them when they randomly encounter a strongbox. Mark said in the interview that strongboxes and essences were designed like random map elements, rather than something that you spec into and specifically put on the map that you're going to run, despite there being points for them on the Atlas skill tree. However, both mechanics did feel underwhelming. Essence is going to take a bit more tweaking and work, but at least strongboxes should be more interesting. Small but potentially very impactful changes are coming to league mechanics, especially for Solo Self-Found. These are quite massive changes, despite sometimes only a 20% buff. We get more splinters from Delirium, which means that you get your simulacrum completed earlier and thus can get the Atlas passive points sooner. Similarly, we're getting more rewards, meaning omens, from Ritual. However, no word on King of the Mist invites, which is a shame, I think they're too rare. Expedition gets more rare items to craft on using the Expedition currency. I'm going to test this out once the patch drops later this week, but better starting items for Expedition crafting is very impactful and can be a great source of upgrades in SSF. In terms of pinnacle content, some amazing changes honestly. You see the citadels through the fog, which is of course great, no more looking for them and no more looking at corpses. And we get 6 portals to try the Arbiter, the endgame boss. And in time, also this will be true for other pinnacle content, so 6 tries for those as well, like the King in the Mist. Looking at gear, a huge improvement for Solo Self-Found is that you can now override the runes that you socketed into gear. This is a godsend really. I'm quite excited. They have simply implemented this without any pushback or philosophy lessons on why choice matters, but rather just felt this was the way to go, which you never really know with GGG. Sometimes they make a change like this without any pushback, and other times they take 4 years to decide that you can in fact respec your ascendancy, and no one, not even Mark, can tell you why that is. That's not even a complaint, that's just stating the facts and referring to statements made in the interview after this video. I don't play on a console, although I do have a Steam Deck. I'll play some more on that probably later or in the future. But for those who do play on console, you will also get access to loot filters. You can follow loot filters and upload them yourself using the Path of Exile 1 website, so that you can actually run a breach and see what's going on. One more change I do want to highlight, not because it's impactful for anyone really, but simply because I think it highlights how much the developers care about the game. And that is that Una is now fixed and she will play you several songs after you return her loot to her in Act 1. And I want to talk about this because the attention to detail in Path of Exile 2 is completely off the charts. I think it's absolutely insane what they managed to achieve, plus I feel there are so many subtle references to other amazing video games. And I'm not even sure it's intentional, but when I'm playing Burial Bog, I feel like I'm playing The Witcher 3 in a top-down perspective. When I request a song to Una, I feel like I've ended up in a random wayside tavern in Skyrim as the Dragonborn. There are a ton of Elden Ring design influences, and I want to acknowledge that still, after a ton of playtime, I'm amazed and stunned sometimes by the little details the devs already managed to put into early access. It's part of the reason why, for me, this doesn't feel like early access at all, as the world is so vibrant and polished. I just wanted to mention that. And with that, I hope you had a good time watching this video. Let me know what you think. Also, let me know if you have any suggestions. Subscribe and like for more PoE SSF content. Thanks for watching and making it to the end. Love you all. See you soon. Bye bye.